Something Stephen Dow and I created almost by accident. It was truly a spur of the moment during one of our discussions over a year and a half ago. I
Yep.
believe is about to be the number one tool for real estate investors that do the work. Before I get
hmm
into this conversation and I highlight this tool, please do that marketing spiel so we don't get in trouble.
Thank you again. Although I work very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on this channel are that of my own. So let's do it again.
So, what I want people to realize is what if? What if you could pay the seller's price? And what if you could get an interest rate below market? And what if you could get into a property for 10% down? Would
Right?
that be a good thing? Great news. You can.
Yes.
I'll say that again. Pay the seller their price,
hmm
get a mortgage rate below market, and only put 10% down. You could do it. Now,
hmm
you have to find the right situation, no doubt. But understanding this tool that we call the 50-40-10 is game changing. Stephen Dow, you helped me create this. Talk about it.
Basically, the concept just circles around or centers around the fact that we allow up to a 90% CLTV or combined loan to value. So in the ideal situation of what we structured as a 50-40-10, meaning I do a 50% LTV first mortgage, the seller, if they have enough equity and is willing to carry up to a 40% second in this situation, that allows the buyer to only have to come in with 10% down. And the fact that the blended rate between my 50% LTV first and the seller second, in many cases, is even lower than what conventional financing is now, but at 90% leverage. Going stated
It's,
income, meaning no tax return, no PESA, no W-2, no DSCR. I mean, it's a beautiful thing when you can structure it that way. We've used this particular concept multiple times with even with a few of your weekly experts, and
yeah.
so just understanding the tool will, I guess, better help you to see where you could use that or in what situations. But it's just structuring the financing to where it makes sense, where the
Yeah.
blended rate between the two loans
Yeah.
allows the property cash flow from day one. And it happens, not every situation, but it does. You just got to do the work.
Yeah. This is why I meant this is going to be the number one tool for investors that do the work, but you got to understand the tool because again,
Mm-hmm.
just like any tool, if you use it incorrectly, it can hurt you. And some tools
Oh,
can
yeah.
kill you, right?
Right.
If you use it
Lose a
incorrectly.
finger.
Yeah, something bad, right? So again, let's talk about the blended rate. So again, this
Mm-hmm.
all keys off 90% combined loan to value.
Right.
Folks, do the math. You borrow 50% of the money at 10%. You borrow
899.
9% then. You borrow thank you. You borrow 50% at 9%. You borrow 40% at 1%.
Right.
You've got 90% debt. I'm going to guess that's a 5 and an 8 blended
Right.
rate. How do you like me now?
Right.
So again, you could do that. And the reason this is key is you do have to find the right situation. And we'll talk about that
Mm-hmm.
in a minute.
Right.
But again, when you structure debt that way and you only bring 10% of your cash to the table, I really do mean sometimes you could pay the seller's price, right?
Right.
Your price, my terms.
Yep.
And that's the amazing thing. What do you think?
No, I think it's been a proven, success story in many situations. Just depends on the circumstances and finding the right situation. Because, just as long as the rents are high enough versus, the
Yeah.
structure of the financing, the monthly payments, that's really what it comes down to. So the key factors are: one, does the seller need all the money from from the proceeds of the sale of their property? Two, how long can they withstand without, getting the full amount? And from there you can kind of structure the financing and see what you can get away with. So but yeah, ideally, I mean, I've done different combinations. It doesn't have to be 50-40-10.
Yeah.
It's just whatever the seller's comfortable with and what makes sense for the investor as well, obviously. I mean, I've done 60-30-10. I've done a 65-25-10. You know what I mean? I've done
Yeah.
a 75-15-10. So it just depends. But a total of a combined loan to value of 90% allows buyer to put down as little as 10%, like you said, and then structuring the financing in a way where even in increasing rate environment, you're still able to get financing that still makes sense for the property cash flow. So it's
Yeah.
right now in this environment, it's an invaluable tool. There's really nothing
Oh,
else out there because I don't know of any other lender that offers the 90% CLTV.
no, and I've looked around. This is unique. This makes Velocity Mortgage special. I'm so glad you guys come on every week. Guys, one
But
other
we
thing
can
that's,
schedule it, that is.
yeah, exactly. When I'm not out being interviewed by me, Kevin, or something like that, it's okay.
Oh, sorry, Mike.
No, sorry about
You're
that.
not
Yeah,
wanted by the, mass media. I get it.
I get it. Just kidding. But this is there's only one thing extra for people hunting.
Mm,
I would argue that most sellers can't say yes to this. What do I mean by that?
yep.
They have to have the equity. If you're going into a situation where they bought the property in the last 2 years with 5% down, the seller can't say yes. So you've like if you're doing mailers or cold calling or looking online, your first question should be how much equity does the seller have? I think the seller's got to have at least 50% equity to say yes.
Right.
Preferably more, but 50% is minimum.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it's just negotiation. And I know it works. I've helped people personally do it. Matt, the
Mm-hmm.
lumberjack's done it. I helped him do that.
Yep.
And
Yep.
others in my network have done it. So it's in a world where conventional mortgages 8%,
I know.
8%. If you could find a seller that can say yes, you can get a combined loan to value with only 10% down and get a 5% more blended
Five
rate.
or six. Yep.
Somewhere between 5 and 6. Do the math. You guys tell me what it is.
Yep.
I can't think of a better tool. Folks, the best thing to do, I also have a playlist called Deep Dive where Stephen
Mm-hmm.
Dow and I did this about a year ago, I think.
I think so
Maybe
too.
a
If
year
you
and a
want to
half.
revisit it again, we can refresh it again, just kind of
That'd be
see.
fun. That'd be fun. Maybe we'll
Okay.
do that.
All right.
You know what? I have a boot camp that I'm doing. Maybe I'll bring you on. We'll do a 2-hour thing with the boot camp folks, but we'll
Okay.
play with that by ear. So
All right.
yeah, the 50-40-10 is awesome. It is going to be the number one tool. Get something below 6 with 10% down. Come on. Are you kidding me?
No, I've had several phone calls just this week alone that people weren't aware of it, and as I'm describing, they're like, "What?" And one person
Oh,
called me yesterday specifically, and he thought he heard wrong, and so the way he was explaining it to me in the question, I was like, "Wait, okay, I think you're all over the place," because he was like,
yeah.
shotgunning a
Oh,
bunch of questions in the same sentence. Well, I heard of this. Wait. Okay, let's compartmentalize. First question, and then when I told him, I'm like, "Okay, I think what you're asking is this." And when I told him, he's like, "Oh my God, he's right." He wasn't wrong. And so as I told him more, he was like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited. So he's like, I'm gonna go find a deal for you now because he understood the concept. He understood that when you structure the financing, it makes sense for everybody. So
yeah.
if you just want to learn more about it, give me a holler. I'd love to kind of, chit chat and break it all down for you and, empower you with this powerful tool so that,
Yeah.
you can take down more opportunities out there.
More great opportunities. That's the key, folks. You can
Agreed.
structure deals. Here's the deal as we wrap this up. We're
Yes.
heading into the slow season.
Mm-hmm.
Days on market is expanding. Motivation is increasing. When motivation increase, terms become possible. For the last 2 years, it was
Yes.
hard. It was rare.
Yep.
The
Mm-hmm.
next year, it's going to be common. Common. Go back and look what happened in the 80s. Seller
Mm-hmm.
and creative financing was the thing. This is
Mm-hmm.
a way where a seller could walk away with up to 60% cash and a
Yep.
40% note. It is
Yep.
better than taking a disrespectful offer at 70 cents on the dollar. If somebody wanted
Oh,
to reach
agreed.
out, ask questions, do the math, where do they go?
Best way, email me at sdao@velocity, the word mortgage.com. In the subject line, please put the acronym ORAAT to make it past the firewall. The body of the email, maybe a brief description, what you're looking for. Property address would be very helpful. Mid-FICO score, and best phone number to reach you at in 24, 48 hours. I'll usually be in touch.
SDAO at velocitymortgage.com. If you're not
Yes, sir.
reaching out to him about the 90% CLTV loan, learning about this new product, learning about the skill, I don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
The 50-40-10 will change your life. Thanks, buddy.